this video, I use my spiritual power and psychic abilities to control the surface of the sun. I controlled coronal holes and solar flares. The amount of mass I controlled on the surface of the sun is more than the entire Earth. So it's like sextillions of tons of plasma. It has so much plasma that I controlled. And I got proof of it and evidence in this video, which I will show you guys right now. So first I controlled this coronal hole, and I made the coronal hole split apart. Made the top part go north and the bottom part go south. Alright, so this is current coronal holes on the sun. And see this right here, and I'm going to try to actually separate these two into two blobs. They're already slightly broken right here, but I try to push these two apart on the surface of the sun, get this part to move up and this part to move down. I'm going to do that tomorrow when the sun's up. Right now it's November 1st. Right now it's November 1st. Yeah, I'm going to try to push these two blobs apart. I'll try to remind myself to do that tomorrow. And also, let's make some stuff. I'm also going to make some stuff on the south part of the sun. The bottom of the sun. I'm going to get some coronal holes right there too. So yeah, I can get these coronal holes here, and I'm going to push these two blobs apart, this one going up and this one going down. I break this coronal hole apart, and this part go north, this part goes south. Alright, so it is now Friday, November 2nd. It looks like this thing is breaking apart. This is separating right here. These two pieces have separated more, and they are actually spreading. Looks like these are spreading apart, so that's good. And we'll keep checking on it. Alright, so as you can see on the timestamp, I made that video on November 1st. And you can check out, this is what the coronal holes look like on November 1st. And you can see from this picture, this is one solid blob, right? And it looked like this. And then I said I wanted to break that blob apart. As I showed you in the video, I said I was trying to break this blob into two. So then November 2nd, the next day, it looked like this. As you can see, it is broken apart right there. Just like I said, I wanted to break it apart. So clearly I just controlled that coronal hole and broke it apart like that. And again, that is just so much mass. This is a lot more mass than this entire Earth that I just controlled with this coronal hole. And I broke it apart right there, as you can see. And then the next day, see, it's even more broken apart here. And there you go, on the 3rd, November 3rd. Next, I made a coronal hole on the south pole of the sun, which lasted for about 2 weeks. Right now it's November 1st. Yeah. And also, let's make some stuff. I'm also going to make some stuff on the south part of the sun. The bottom of the sun. I'm going to get some coronal holes right there too. So yeah, I can get these coronal holes here, And I'm going to push these two blobs apart, this one going up and this one going down. I said I wanted to make the coronal hole on the south pole of the sun on November 1st. That was November 1st. It started on November 5th, and then the coronal hole got bigger. And as you can see, there's a coronal hole on the south pole of the sun, just like I said. And this coronal hole stayed there and continued on all the way until today. The current one today, there's still a coronal hole on the south pole of the sun. So this coronal hole has lasted from the 5th to the 16th, so that's 11 days. This coronal hole lasted for 11 days at least, and it's still going. I made that. So as you can see, it's developed this part on the bottom here. Just like I said, I told it to make coronal holes on the bottom, and there it is. Appeared on the bottom, on the south pole, on the south pole there's coronal holes, just like I said. So as you can see, these two blobs did separate. After that, I made a solar flare on the sun. I got evidence for all, and this is proof that I control. This is complete and total proof that I controlled the surface of the sun. Okay, so this is the sun currently, right now. There is one solar flare. Yes, you could count this one as a little bit too, but one major solar flare. Alright, so I'm just trying to make another solar flare up here. Make another solar flare right here. So you make a solar flare. Make a solar flare right here, about right there. Here, right there. Solar flare. Today is November 16th, 2018. Trying to make a solar flare up here, right here. Solar flare on the sun. A solar flare on the surface of the sun. For the power of the macrocosm. Make a solar flare on the surface of the sun. For the power of the macrocosm. Make a solar flare on the surface of the sun. So I'm making a solar flare right here. So I'm making a solar flare right there. Today is November 16th. I'm going to make a solar flare right here. This is what a solar flare will be. So as you can see in the video, I was aiming for right about there. About right there. Here, right there. Solar flare. And that was November 16th. Now today is November 17th. Today is November 17th, and a solar flare did appear about the same exact spot as I was aiming for, just a little bit off. Right here, you can see it, this solar flare right here. And you can see it's just a little bit north of where I was aiming. And there's the solar flare. So yeah, as you can see, I was clearly aiming for that spot. And so clearly it worked. It was just a little bit north, but that's very, very close. That's definitely close enough to count that as successful. If you consider the whole entire, it could have been anywhere on the sun. It could have been anywhere. And it just was a little bit off from where I was aiming. And this is one day later on November 17th. So yeah, I definitely controlled the sun and made a solar flare right there. This is how big the Earth is compared to the sun. It's about 108 times smaller than the sun in diameter. So you see this coronal hole I controlled was actually bigger, by far bigger than the entire Earth. Earth could fit in here, this little gap right here that I made. So that means I controlled like sextillions of tons, sextillions or septillions of tons of mass. Enough mass, like more mass than the entire Earth that I controlled with my spiritual power. So this is basically proof that I have infinite power. Because, I mean, come on, I moved like septillion tons of plasma, sextillion tons of plasma, made a coronal hole inside the sun. Did that all with my mind and with my aura. So I moved more mass than the entire Earth. A good amount. I moved it a good amount, and according to my will, of plasma. So that clearly shows that the bigger my target is, the more I can control and the stronger I am. The bigger my target, the stronger I am. Which means I literally have infinite power. It just goes up to scale. The larger the scale of the target, the larger my power. So yes, I do literally have infinite power. Okay. So this is so much mass, it's not even funny. This is like quadrillion or sextillion, like literally sextillion tons of plasma that I'm controlling here. Like this is just so much mass. I can control any amount of mass. The bigger the target is, the more power I have and the stronger I am. So that's why I'm able to control this. This is literally like sextillion tons of mass. Like this is just so much plasma. It's not even funny, but like I can control it. And yeah, like I said, the bigger the target is, the stronger I am. So I have infinite power. The bigger my target is, the more I can control and the stronger I am. So I can actually bless the whole universe and control the whole macrocosm and do good deeds and blessings and positive alchemy throughout the macrocosm and bring benefits to people in the. I can control the entire universe. I have unlimited power. So this is actual evidence and proof of that. So yeah, and I did get help, obviously, from God, always from God, and from the sun god. And they worship the sun god, Surya, Ra, Apollo, Mithras, Vamana, Amun-Ra, Ravi is also the name of the sun god. But yeah, this is truly showing my next level of spiritual powers. As you saw in Spiritual Powers Season 1, I was controlling things on a small level, just controlling the elements on things around me. And then in Spiritual Powers Season 2, I was controlling things on a planetary level and continental and planetary level, grand scale things. And now in Season 3, I've shown my spiritual powers to be in the stellar level and star level, and then my power is actually indeed infinite. And in this Spiritual Powers Season 3, I've now shown star level of spiritual powers.